Guys, can you imagine that was 2018. I had just started with this company, World Financial Group, as many of you know, and it's I don't know what else to say except for I drank the Kool-Aid and I love this business. So a little bit of my background, of course, you guys know Odetta King. I've been in the corporate space for about 18 years. And in hindsight, sometimes I feel like I wish I had done 18 years in WFG. But hey, I always tell people this opportunity, being a corporate exec for hotels, prepared me for WFG because a lot of the skill set that we required to do and excel in this business, which comes with sales, talking to people, all of that stuff I had to do when I was in corporate America. So did 18 years of that, hotel sales, oversee a lot of hotels, made a lot of millions for the owners. And during that time, I was also teaching, and I'm an adjunct professor at two colleges, NYU, where I graduated from, laid the foundation for my academic career with hotels and management and business, but they never prepared me to manage my own money. So I'm a proud alumni of NYU. I'm very active at all of my old colleges. In fact, I'm doing something for Kingsborough this coming Thursday. 2 weeks ago, shout out to Brandy. I think she's on. We did some work for Kingsborough again early. Oh, you are awesome. So Brandy's one of my business partners. She's also a faculty at Kingsborough. And then of course I teach at St. John University, where again I'm very active in all of these schools because I know that when I was there we didn't have an outlet for personal finance, and so I want to make sure that now I know better, I'm doing better. Always been an entrepreneur at heart. Didn't really know where I would land, but I tried in a couple of different things and I found my sweet spot, which is education with WFG. This is a cute picture here of the way back in the days when I was in the hotel field. And I always, if you guys know me, I'm really big on gratitude. I'm really big on thanking the person that laid the page for me or laid the foundation. Angel, many of you may or may not know, he brought me into the business. I was teaching at Kingsborough Community College a couple of years ago, and he approached me. He was one of the students that had graduated from the program, and ever so often we would bring back people to the program to talk about how his college prepared him. So Angel was one of the guests, and right after him doing his spiel, we had a networking afterwards, and he approached me. He could have said, you know what, she's a professor, she probably got it together, I'm not going to tell her anything. But he didn't. He had the courage, and he spoke to me and he asked me, what do I do besides teaching? And I said, well, I'm always on social media talking about stacking your coins and telling people what to do with their money and save. But I was telling people to save in the bank. I was telling people to save in accounts that are giving them, 1% or a little higher than 1%, whatever the little that I knew. The point that I was telling people to save. So Angel, right, who approached me and invited me to WFG. At that time, there was an event going on at Mercy College, and silly me, being naive, I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't really want to go, but I'm just going to go to check out the faculty, check out the campus. And I got there and it was nothing of the sort. There was an event going on. They did the presentation, and immediately I fell in love with the mission. I fell in love with the campaign. I fell in love with the education, and I did not initially wanted to do the business. I just saw an opportunity for me to learn about money and better my own personal finance. So I signed up on the spot without thinking about it, without questioning. I'm like, you know what? This is about saving money. I could learn this and do this for myself. So I whipped out my American Express and swiped that credit card and paid that $100, and then I got enrolled in the classes. You guys know back then we used to have in-person sessions, in-person trainings, in-person workshop. Now I live in Brooklyn, but I used to drive all the way to the Bronx 2 nights a week, pay the toll, pay gas, no investment on seeing the opportunity for the business. I just know I'm going there to learn. So Forever grateful to Angel. And anytime I ever get a little baby boy, his middle name is going to be Angel. He probably is sneezing all the time. Now, because he's been so great to me, I actually, acknowledge him in one of my first book, If You Ain't Stacking, You're Dropping. And this picture was actually taken at one of our first convention in Georgia. And of course, we ran away with a couple of trophies. So I had to take a picture with the guy that brought me into the business. So I joined WFG August 2017. As a client, like I said, had no intention of doing the business. But you know what? After attending the trainings, and I realized there's so much stuff that I did not know as a professor. Then I need to learn this stuff and maybe teach it to my community. So fast forward, I got licensed in October. I had not even made any money yet. So like, guys, let me tell you right now, don't say to yourself, oh, I'm not going to go on a trip because I'm making no money and I got to wait and see money first. No, I invested in myself. I invested in my knowledge. I put myself in rooms where I could be at a higher level and learn from people who are blazing the chart. So I got my license in October. I hadn't made any money. And Johnny at the time had a gala, not even like a training or a convention. It was a gala. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to go there for the party, meet some people. When I got to the gala in LA in December of 2017, it blew my mind. I saw people on stage getting their watches, their ring, their belt, their sword. These are all accolades, but you got to do something to get it. They don't give it to you for free. And it lit a bulb. It sparked something in me. Like I didn't know anything about 3330, 55, 117. All I knew is that I got to get something, right? I got to get something. I got to get something. I got to be on stage. I got to get something. So fast forward January 2018, there was a convention in Georgia. So from the time I got licensed to going to the gala, in the beginning, you do not have to know anything. Your excitement, your energy, your conviction will sell this business. People will see it through you. I don't know what I was telling people. All I know was excited, and everybody needed to know about this IUL, about Everest, about whatever it was. And people listened to me, and I set up the appointment, and I would put them in front of my trainer. Boy, that's all I remember doing. Just being excited, making a lot of phone calls, setting up a lot of appointments. January 2018 rolls around, and Johnny pulled me aside and he said, hey, we want you to share what you've been doing because you just got licensed and you're crushing it. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. All I know, I'm like recruiting. Don't even know how to fast start people. I'm just recruiting and putting the people to my trainer. So that video that I opened up with, that was my first time actually speaking on stage in front of like 6,000 people. And it was amazing. And from there on, it's just been nonstop. So I invested in myself without making any money. Right? At the time, of course, I was working. So I charged my credit card and I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to let my job pay for these trips. I'm going to let my job pay for these things that I'm doing right now to invest in myself. So I wanted you guys to understand in this business, some of you in the beginning, you may not make money right away, but invest in yourself. You can never lose. And this is my mom. This is why I do this business. I'm her firstborn and I'm a proud. I love to tell her, out of all of her kids, if any of them fail her, I'm her cash cow. I'm retiring her and I'm doing this job, doing this business for her. So kudos to my mom, and she's my biggest supporter. So fast forward, MD, top MD, #1 cash flow. Again, not even really understanding the system. I'm just being coachable. I'm listening to my trainer at the time, who was Aaron, Michelle, Pierre, Angel, and whatever they tell me to do, I'm doing. I'm not questioning. I don't understand. They say, hey, Daddy, you need 5 people. You need 4 appointments. You need this, you need that. And I'm just going like a rabbit and I'm just getting it, right? I'm just getting it. So by doing all of those things, and the second thing I want to say is you got to be coachable. Many of us, we may not understand it in the beginning. Just be coachable and trust the process, right? So I'm coachable. understanding, going with the flow, listening, doing whatever they tell me to do. Boom, 50K, made my Success Society watch. Super excited about that, and just kept running the system. So many awards. My house is so full with awards and plaque. My mom said people could steal a few from me and I wouldn't even miss it. These are just the pictures of some of them, right? Then I hit my 100K ring again, running the system. And at this point now, I'm getting higher level coaching. I'm working with Johnny. He's mentoring me. He's coaching me. He's telling me what to do. But he's also challenging me. I remember one time, my mom was over at my house and she heard Johnny talking to me. She's like, why you got him yelling at you? Why you got him screaming at you? He's talking to you so rough. And I'm like, Mom, I want to be where he is. I don't care if he talks at me that way. I want to make a million too. Bring it on, Johnny, right? So sometimes your spouse may hear, Johnny, everybody in this business, your spouse probably know who Johnny is by now, right? So WFG helped me realize my wildest dream. I never thought I would ever be an author. Everything that I know today when it comes to money is from WFG. Wrote my first book, If You Ain't Stacking, You Dropping. Everything from WFG, sitting with the clients, dealing with clients, hearing stories. Second book, If This Is Why You're Broke, right? Some people mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, you give them $1 million, they're still going to be broke because they don't know what to do with that money. You give them an opportunity to change their life, they're still going to be broke because mentally they're not ready for this, right? And then the third one recently that I launched last year, Let's Get Rich. And this is a journal planner because again, I realized that people, we got to stay accountable. We got to know how much we're making, how much we're spending, and also money mindset, money mantra, and just this is the journal to keep you on track every month. What should be doing with your money? So today we're here because once again your girl did it 2 years in a row, right? Everest, and I'm gonna play another clip.
Odetta, when you play the clip, you have to click at the bottom left corner, share audio sound.
Oh, okay. Let's do that right now. Share audio sound. I don't see that. Oh, I see it now. Oh, that's a good tip. Thanks for telling me.
I want to highlight, this is her second time since I've been with Everest being #1 in the region. Shout out to the one and only Odetta King. This is her second time since I've been with Everest being #1 in the region. Shout out to the one and only Odetta King.
Alrighty, so that was April, what is it, April 3rd, I think it was, at our recent Super Sunday that we had. So how did I do that? Guys, if you do not know, we're here in New York. Everest is not sold in New York. We have our own hurdles and challenge. So to be able to do what we're doing is almost like impossible, but we make it happen, right? Because like I said, Everest is not sold in New York. We have to go through hoops. We got to explain different things to client. We got to, like, there's a couple of extra steps that we have to do than everybody else in the country. So how did I get to be #1 in 2021, 2022? And this year, I'm already on track to not only double, but triple my numbers. So it all starts with your mindset, right? My mindset when it comes to Everest is second to none. Second to none. I believe in the product. And if you own anything, you need something. So when I sit with clients, I am looking for a couple of things. And again, everybody that you and I sit with, also have that mindset that if they own anything, they need something. And that something starts with minimum Everest. Everybody, how many of us know people who own or have kids? They own a bank account. They have a vehicle. They have jewelry. They have real estate, whether it's investment or their personal home or an apartment, right? They have investment account. They have 401ks, IRAs, whatever. Maybe they don't have any kids like me, but they have nieces and nephews, right? They have their parents, or maybe they have a favorite charity. If they own anything, at the very basic minimum, they're gonna need something, and that something is Everest. So it all starts with your mindset. But then, now that we got the mindset, what are the conversation starters? How do we get people to think, or how do we start the conversation when it comes to Everest? Well, I'm going to ask them these things. Do you have a current plan if something were to happen to you or your spouse? What do you guys think most people will say? Even if they do, they don't know if it's the right thing, right? Do you have a current plan if something happens to you or your spouse? Who will be the legal guardian for your minor kids? Most people don't have a legal guardian for their minor kids. They assume if something happened to them, the kids are going to go with maybe their other spouse, or maybe their sibling, or maybe their parent. It's not so easy. We live in America. If we don't have a say in what's going to happen, or if we don't have the correct documents in place, the government decides. Third, who will make financial or medical decisions if you cannot? So, if you want to do something and you can't, can you send your parents to make financial decision on your behalf? Or if you go into the hospital for a simple surgery that goes left, who's going to make decisions for you? Do you have those things in writing? Do you have a plan for yourself in the event of sickness or death? So ask yourself again, if you were to get sick right now, and whether it's you staying in your home or going to a home or going to a hospital, what plans do you have for things to still keep running while you're away in the hospital or wherever? And of course, upon death, right? So what are those plans? And then lastly, what happens to your business if they have a business? Or what happens to your money or your home or any assets when you're no longer here? Who's going to get what? Most people, if you ask them 2 out of these 5 questions, they don't have a clue. And even if they have a clue, they don't have things in place. They may know what needs to get done, but they don't have it in place. Mindset and conviction. Tackle the objection questions up front. Before they even say it or think about it, I'm going to talk about it. So here's 2 examples. Somebody may say, well, and let's see if Vita is on, because Vita is always telling me this one. This is for Vita. Okay, she's not on. So Vita and Vita is one of my business partners. She says, well, Ludetta, the people that I work with, they're, they said they don't care. When they die, whatever happened. I'm sure you guys have heard this too, right? You're going to sit with clients and they're going to say, well, I don't care. Whenever I die, they'll figure it out. They're on their own. So tackle those objection questions up front. Okay, fine. So if you don't care about the people who you leave behind, they'll figure it out. Okay, so what about you while you're alive? What do you have in place to make sure you're going to be good while you're alive? Or if you get sick, if you don't care about the people after you die. Or for the people that is going to tell us, oh, I already have life insurance, so I don't need a final expense. Well, Everest is more than final expense. You get the money in 48 hours. Or let's say the person tell you, well, I already have my burial money, because I was one too that told Johnny in the beginning, I don't need Everest because I got my burial money. And you know what Johnny said to me? How is your mom going to get to your burial money? How is she going to know which bank to go to get the money from your bank account since you have your burial money, right? Or for the people that say, oh, I already have life insurance, I don't need another life insurance. Well, Everest is more than life insurance. the money pays out in 48 hours. Your regular life insurance, or in fact, all other forms of life insurance, is not going to pay out in 48 hours. And for the person that's going to say, well, I don't really care about having it in 48 hours. I have money. My family's going to have access to the money. Well, do they have the proper documents in place? And do they know which bank to go to get that money? So think of those objection questions ahead of time. And when you're talking to someone or presenting them with Everest, if they bring up these 3 objections, you already know how to handle it. Or you could even say it as part of your presentation. If you know that person already has a life insurance, you could say, hey, I know you have a life insurance already. That's great. But did you know that's not going to pay out in 48 hours? So tackle the objection questions. It's only like 2 or 3. They're going to tell you, I don't care what happens after I die. Let them figure it out. So now you know how to answer that. They're going to say, I already have life insurance. I'm good. Now you know how to answer that. Or they could say, you know what? I got my burial money. Now you know how to answer that. Those are the 3 main objection questions. Number 3, sell the story. Story sell. Last night, Ken and I were watching Prince story. Prince died without a will. He was in the process of making a will, but he never finalized or did the will. It was never filed. Even to this day, look how long Prince is dead and gone. They're still fighting and squabbling over his estate. Money is still coming in. Royalties are still coming in. His siblings, from what we see, from what we've seen last night in the biography, he was not very close to his family. He was not very close to his siblings. But now, guess what? The siblings are saying they were good with him. They were close with him. So they need part of his estate, right? So same thing with Aretha Franklin, guys. Google these people's stories and learn about them. Aretha Franklin died without any will. And you would think, okay, when these people die, their estates are going to be divided to their kids. Aretha Franklin has, or had, well, she's dead, so has a disabled son. She wanted everything to go to that disabled son. The one child that cannot care for himself. She wanted everything to go to him to make sure that while she's gone, he's still going to be taken care of because he cannot take care of himself. He's disabled. But guess what? The other siblings are fighting for more and actually trying to get this one disabled child to not get anything or very little. When it should have been the reverse. The disabled child is supposed to get more stuff and the other kids partly something because they can fend for themselves. It's not happening, right? And it's not fair. Now, let's talk about my own story. My dad went in for a simple surgery many, many years ago. A simple surgery that ended up botching up in his entire life. He cannot even get a policy. On top of it, he was in a coma for a month. Had he had a will, medical proxy, power of attorney, but at least for sure, medical proxy and power of attorney, the whole process while he was in that coma for a month, that month was nonstop bickering between my stepmom and my dad's siblings. Everybody think they know what's the best thing to do, and everybody telling the doctors what's the best thing to do, but at the end, the doctor's not listening to anybody but his wife. Had he had a simple medical proxy or medical power of attorney, then that piece of paper would say who's going to make decisions for him now that he's unconscious. My brother, many of you may or may not know, he's a double amputee, right? When he first lost both of his legs, he was in a coma for almost 1 day. Did not know what was going on. It took them 3 days before they could talk to him and find out who's his family before the hospital called us. And when the hospital called us, they didn't give us a lot of information because of privacy patient rights. So guess what? As soon as he got up and running and he was aware mentally, we had to get these documents signed while he was in the hospital. So today, I'm his medical proxy. I'm his power of attorney. I'm everything for him right? And you would think, well, he's an adult, so why does he need these things? Well, we never know. We could get into an accident, we could get sick. And if you don't give somebody the right legal authority to call and speak to people on your behalf, these agencies and hospitals and doctors, they're not going to give you information. So now he's in a nursing home where he'll probably be there for the rest of his life. Even though my brother has nothing to his name, we made sure he has his estate planning affairs in order. That's Everest, right? Your present is not your future. We might be broke today, but hit the jackpot tomorrow. So my brother, him losing his legs, at some point he may get the lawsuit. We're not going to wait until he get the lawsuit to squabble and do these things there and then. No, you could be broke today and you make money tomorrow. You make money next week, next month, next 5 years. Put these things in place and get your estate planning affairs in order anyways, right? So I talk about selling the will, the power of attorney, medical proxy. For the people who like to say, well, I don't care, when I'm dead, they can fight, they can figure it out. Well, okay, fine, let them figure it out. But while you're alive, do you have a power of attorney? Do you have a medical healthcare proxy? Let's take care of you while you're alive, right? Let them squabble if you don't care after you're dead and gone. Number 6, be a product of the product. Own what you sell. Guys, my Everest is about $30-something a month. Y'all, I'm not crying about that when I'm making a whole bunch of money selling Everest. And I can talk about my stories. I can log into my portal. I can show guests and clients that I have this. I'm telling you, you need to have it, and I have it for myself. So when I first started with WFG, right, and I did my Tree 30, my Tree 30 was my own accounts. My own accounts was my Tree 30. So I'm a big believer, you gotta own what you sell. You cannot sell shoes and walk barefoot, right? You can't sell wigs and not wearing wigs, right? So if you're selling these products or educating these families, you need to own what you have. And if you own what you have, you're not even paying for it really, because you're selling this stuff every week, every month. It's paying for itself. And when I was approached to do my Tree 30 and they did my F&A and they said, well, do you have a will? No, I don't need a will. Well, because I was like those people. Let them figure it out when I'm dead and gone. And then Johnny was like, well, Odetta, well, what about while you're alive? You're single. If something happened to you, like, what's going to happen? Who's going to help you while you're alive? And then I said, well, I got my burial money. I'm going to be good. He's like, well, how's your mom going to get to your burial money? How is she going to know which bank to go to? If it's Wachovia, if it's Bank of America, if it's Citibank, if it's Chase, how is she going to know which bank to go to? And more importantly, are they going to give her the money if you don't have a power of attorney, right? If you don't make her your power of attorney, right? So own these products, right? It's not an expense. This is a business, and you can proudly tell people you own what you have and show them what you have. Numbers don't lie, y'all. Google the stats. 60% of Americans don't have a will. That's an opportunity for you to ask everybody. I think Ken is on this call. Ken just flat out talks to his friends and just straight up, like, he don't sugarcoat it. He would just tell them, you got a will? Do you have a will? If you ain't got a will, he's gonna tell you, well, you need a will, right? You need a will. So 60% of Americans don't have it. 60%. We have a lot of people that we can help with. And then another statistics, 57% of people can't afford or don't have $1,000 readily to deal with emergency. Hence, GoFundMe. If you guys Google the word GoFundMe, you're going to see it's associated more with life insurance, with burial. This is your answer to Everest. Here are some hot buttons, right? Based on who you're speaking with, these are some things that you can highlight. If you're talking to a young professional, sell them on the 24/7 Global Concierge. Sell them on why they need to have a healthcare directive and power of attorney. or the online tent and storage. If you're dealing with families that have kids, sell them on the will prep, right? Baby boomers, sell them on the 24-hour concierge. Maybe they go on vacation. Maybe they take a cruise. Maybe they go to Guyana, Jamaica, or wherever, and something happened. Or a lot of our parents who are older, the West Indian community, we may live here in the States, but their wishes are to go back to Guyana. Guess what? 24-hour concierge global service, right? And of course, our parents, we got to make sure they have their will, their healthcare proxy, their power of attorney together, because as our parents get older, we are going to have to help them with these things. They helped us when we were little. Now we got to help them when they're older. So here is the secret sauce. Can you guys eat burgers without fries? Of course, but it's better with fries. So for me, I package everything with Everest by asking 3 simple questions. Do you have the 3 main estate planning documents that everybody needs? Most people don't have it. Most people don't have a will. Most people don't have medical proxy. Most people don't have power of attorney. They don't. Well, now you do. I'm going to get you one, right? Or do you have 15 to 20K on hand readily available? Prior to coming on this Zoom right now, I did an annual review. My girlfriend, who's a client of mine, her dad passed away about 2 months ago. She told me, I said, I'm sorry to hear, but out of curiosity, did he have life insurance? She said, wow, girl, we thought he had. We really thought he had it. They tumbled the whole house, no life insurance. Thankfully, the siblings, they pulled up their resources together and they were able to bury their dad. I said, how much was the funeral? $20,000. That's today. This just happened. Most people don't have 20,000 readily available. They have to pull up their resources. They have to ask everybody, okay, you put 5, you put 2, you put 1, you put 1,000. They got to do a GoFundMe among themselves to come up with this 20,000. No, we don't want that. We don't want that, right? So if you ask people in your F&A or in your presentation when they're ready to move forward, hey, by the way, do you have the 3 basic estate planning documents? Do you have 15 to 20K readily available for burial expense? God forbid if something happened prematurely. They don't. We're doing F&As. We're seeing their net worth, right? A bonus question, do you have a will? Straight out ask them, do you have a will? I just showed you the statistics. Most people don't have a will. So boom, you need an Everest. Because if you don't have a will, the government will. If you don't have a will, the government will. The government is going to decide what's happening after you're gone. And probate court is expensive and long. People could be in probate court for 2-3 years. And most people give up because number one, you need an attorney. You need to spend money to try to get whatever the person left behind. We don't need that, right? Secret sauce, have a monthly goal. Have a monthly goal. A lot of us are familiar with 5-5-30. Well, guess what? For me, it's not 5-5-30. It's 5-10-30. Because every product that I'm going to get a family, I'm going to tack it on automatically with an Everest. If you tell me you like that IUL and you could do 350 in that IUL, boom, 300 IUL, $50 Everest. If you tell me, oh, you want that annuity, you're going to get the annuity. Okay, we're going to do the lump sum annuity and we're going to get you a $50 Everest. Whatever it is, when I'm doing my needs analysis and we decided, okay, you need an IUL, and I ask you your budget and you tell me it's $500. And I already asked you during the process, do you have a will? Do you have medical proxy? Do you have this? Do you have that? And they said no. Then I'm going to say, you know what? Your $500 gives you access to all of that. You're going to have your IUL and your estate planning. All of that for $500. All of that for $500. I don't break it down right there and then. Whatever they tell me is their monthly contribution, and I already did my due diligence and asked them if they have these things in place. And it's right on the 3 rules of money. The pages with the question before the 3 rules of money ask about estate planning. So make sure you're not skipping over that. And if they tell you they don't have estate planning, they don't have a will, they don't have medical process, they don't have power of attorney, they don't have 15 to 20K anywhere, guess what? What's your monthly contribution for your IUL? $500 or $300. Great, now you do. This $350 is going to give you your IUL and your estate planning documents. Pull up my intake sheet, bada boom, bada bang, on to the next one. So just like that, your 5530 is now 51030 because everybody get in the package with their Everest, right? So now instead of just having one IUL, you having an IUL and an Everest, or instead of just having the IUL and a term, now we add in the Everest. Everybody got to get an Everest because, again, numbers don't lie. And with that being said, I have a bonus YouTube video that I just did about two days ago with an estate planning attorney. It talks about those 3 basic estate planning documents that everybody needs to have, whether you have money or not, whether you care about people or not. It's not about the dead, it's about the living. So let's take care of you while you're alive. For the selfish people who are going to say, well, I don't care, when I'm dead, they'll figure it out. Okay, let them figure it out. Let's make sure you're good while you're alive. Let's get you those 3 estate planning documents and live your fabulous life. And with that being said, that is it. That's how I kill it, right? I'm not just going to do one product. To me, in my mindset, it's a package, because again, you could eat a burger by itself, but it's better with fries. So it just makes sense to give everybody the package if they don't have those estate planning documents in place. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much.
Odetta, it's by no mistake why you are the top Everest seller. I'm taken aback by just how you present it, the questions you ask, your mindset about it, how you handle the objections. You know, do you have the 3 main estate planning documents that everyone needs? How powerful is just that question alone? So I know for a lot of you guys are brand new. What's great about our platform, we work with many different investment companies. We work with many different insurance companies. Now, what Everest is, it's a funeral concierge